You may be aware, although not from the media, they're saying that they're just starting to be forced to report on this, but we'll get into that in a minute, on how the Canadian truckers have decided to get together and essentially make their demands felt by blockading Ottawa and honking all day and night until Trudeau and his government decide to rescind the mandatory vaccinations and mandates that they whenever they cross a border or something like that, they have to show vaccine passes. And this is, of course, tyrannical. And so the truckers are doing something about it.
I don't know what the status is at this point either, but I remember being told by our Canadian viewers that like you couldn't go on a train, you couldn't go on a plane, or inside the country.
Yeah.
You couldn't go to restaurants without the papers.
Apparently they're planning intrastate papers, as in you go from one Canadian state to another.
You know, North Korea actually does have that.
Oh, I bet they do.
Yeah, before the pandemic, if you wanted to travel between towns, you had to get a permit.
Oh, what a shock.
Yeah.
I bet Germany has that too. Anyway, Elon Musk tweeted out Canadian truckers rule. This is significant because Elon Musk has got like 78 million followers. And
billions and billions of dollary dues.
Yeah, and he's the richest man in the world. So, and he looks fun and based, to be honest. And so obviously this is good news for them. And so there's one side, which is the more lighthearted, fun, freedom-loving side that's like, yeah, go get your freedom back. And then there's the other side, which is Trudeau's opinion. Do you want to know what Trudeau thinks of the truckers? Apparently, they are a small fringe minority of people who are on their way to Ottawa, who are holding unacceptable views that they are expressing, and they do not represent the views of Canadians who have been there for each other, who know that following the science and stepping up to protect each other is the best way to continue to ensure our freedoms, our rights, our values as a country. What freedoms? That's what Trudeau's been taking away from them. That's what they're protesting against.
I do love in this country we've finally moved away from all this crap, it seems.
Finally, yeah.
And now this looks like bizarro world news.
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird to read it in English. It sounds like fan fiction for tyrants.
Yeah. I mean, it's not necessary, but like you have to do exactly as the government says to be free. You have to have vaccine mandates, yes, passports, all this sort of stuff to be free. I don't think so. But what I love about this is unacceptable views, says the dear leader. You think wrong. Sorry. You're not allowed to think that. That's unacceptable. And so the truckers on Friday were driving to Ottawa and they began arriving. And it was really, really wholesome. If you can just see this video, it's like people, again, look at the temperature in Canada. Like everyone there wrapped up in the snow, but still out on these bridges and stuff to hold out placards and wave to them and stuff like that. It's really, really wholesome watching all of this. You can see loads of people on the bridges with Canadian flags. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's great. And then we go to the next one, you see there are loads of these videos at different places where just people have come out to support them.
That fringe minority, huh?
Yeah, totally fringe minority.
You know, fringe minorities can get huge groups of people in random parts of the country to all agree.
You can see these are different locations as well, because some of them have snow, some of them don't. You know, this is, you know, just all across this country, it seems. And so the numbers of truckers I have got no clear estimate on. The number I keep hearing around is 50,000 truckers, which is a lot since each one has a truck. So, like, you know, that's a lot of people. But
when you take into account all the other people you see here, of course.
Well, exactly, yeah.
God knows.
So if this is a fringe minority, I mean, they don't feel very fringe at this point. And so how's it looking from the arrival of the fringe minority at the capital? Well, our roving reporter Elon Musk has an update. It's just, if you can scroll down the OCC, it's just complete, you know, for miles backlog of trucks. Like, okay, the capital of Canada is going to grind to a halt now, right? They have made it happen. Nothing's going to get delivered. No one's going to move. You're not going to be happy about this. The next one. This is the American border. People lining up to go to Canada.
Wait, Americans going over to Canada?
Yeah.
To go and support?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Isn't it?
Convoy to Ottawa.
But it's also the backlog. But anyway, so what's the main contention from the truckers? If we can go to the next one, well, F. Trudeau is pretty much it. And if we go to the next one, make Canada great again. Take back our freedom. I agree. Fully endorse. And so, yes, it's been lots and lots of people. If we go to the next one, you can see that basically people, I mean, sorry, scroll up a little bit just so we can see the text here. So this chap's claiming 100,000 truckers, 1.5 million people in Ottawa at Parliament I don't think that's true. I think that's overstating it. But the demands that people are making, of course, Trudeau resigns and drops all mandates. No negotiations. I've been told this by many Canadians. He knows. And this is all I've seen coming out of the people and media that I've seen presented from this as well. Trudeau goes or drops all the mandates. Frankly, I think it should be both. Trudeau goes and drops all mandates, but what do I know?
I mean, that's why you hate Trudeau, presumably.
Yeah, well, no, there are lots of reasons to hate Trudeau.
Sure, but that's the main one of why you're doing this.
That is, yeah. But you can see just from the video, just like this is huge, man. Like this is
It's gonna make me wonder how the hell he apparently won that election.
Well, that's the question, isn't it? Yeah. You know, but anyway, we're not allowed to question elections, I've been told. And so anyway, what should the government do about this? Outlaw supporting the truckers? That's a start.
Well, they're all terrorists now, Joe Biden style.
Apparently.
Anyone who disagrees with us.
In Nova Scotia, the local government decided to cite its emergency powers that they've been given under COVID.
They were never going to be abused.
And have declared it illegal to finance, organise, aid or participate in the truck convoy. Line the roadside in support of a truck convoy, and if you do this, you can face up to $10,000 in fines, which I understand is about £7.
They can't fine us all £7, presumably.
I think they could. But isn't that interesting?
Let them try.
Isn't that interesting?
Finance, organise, aid or participate. So even if you donate just £1 to the GoFundMe, that's you. That's £10,000 fine right there. I mean, this is what we do on
under the COVID state of emergency mandates.
I know, but that kind of restrictions where even just aid or participating or supporting, that's what we have for the prescription list in the UK for terrorist organisations.
Yes.
You cannot offer moral support, financial support to any of these groups. So it's the same sort of treatment.
The truckers are terrorists, according to the local government of Nova Scotia. But it doesn't matter. I think it's too late. Too little, too late. Thank God. Because it turns out the truckers have apparently got enough funds for years. They've already been voted.
They can stay on Parliament Hill for 2 to 4 years. I mean, what did they have? Last time we showed, they have 5 million on GoFundMe alone. So,
I mean, like, I look forward to this going on for years. And I mean, you can say, well, you're not allowed to join these convoys, but the farmers weren't listening because they decided to join as well. As you can see, the farmers have decided, this has to stop.
This is kind of wholesome though, because it's very much the countryside versus the cities.
Oh yeah,
I mean, telling you, becoming the dividing line between everyone in the West is always the cities versus the countries.
We will get into exactly that, because what this is Canada's very own secession of the plebs. Do you know what the secession of the plebs is?
I heard of that before.
It's in the Roman Republic in, I think it was like 495 BC. The plebs were not happy with how the aristocrats were governing Rome, and they were like, yeah, well, without us, there is no Rome. Bye, and just walked out and sat on a hill until the aristocrats gave in to their demands. That's what this is. And it works. Because they can't have a country without you. Because these people who are going and protesting, the truckers, the farmers, the people on the bridges, these are clearly the regular people of the country. Like the people out in the provinces, people in the villages, what we would describe as the shires, are just like, no, we've had enough of this, and we're not going to carry on. And
we're not cosmopolitan types who think everything is great that you do.
Yes, and we'll be getting to the effect that this is having on those cosmopolitan types in a minute. So what happened to Justin Trudeau? What was his response? He bravely ran away.
Oh, brave Trudeau.
he of course has a house in Ottawa, and he fled to a, quote, secret location. Now, we don't know where Trudeau has actually gone.
Oh, brave Sir Justin, wouldn't it?
Yes, so brave Sir Justin has run away. But rumours are that he's fled to the United States.
We were joking before. I'm really hoping he turns up in Florida. Just tomorrow, there's a picture of him out dining with a mask not on.
But isn't this hilarious how the plebs rise up and Justin Trudeau flees the country? Like, not just going to a different city.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
But also leaving the city at all. I mean, it's like a monarch who's been caught out and it's been shown that they're not the real ruler of the place and has now left.
He's now the prime minister in exile.
Yeah, or a puppet government leader who's been kicked out by a revolution almost.
Yeah. Well, in
Canada, you don't even have to kill anyone. You just say, "Oh, we're sorry about this, but you got to go."
But he's on the phone to Klaus Schwab. Like, Klaus, what am I doing? So the thing is, though, of course, this highlights Trudeau's monumental hypocrisy because, of course, he's a hypocrite. You may remember when the Indian farmers were protesting in a similar manner, actually, just essentially having their own little secession of the plebs and saying, no, we're not doing whatever it is they were doing. I wasn't following it, but that's what I understand was happening.
Country versus cities, always on the side of the country.
Yep, exactly. Oh, absolutely. And they're the ones who make the food.
Yeah.
And honestly,
What do they want? I don't care. They make the food. I'm hungry.
I just kind of hate the city dwellers at this point. But Trudeau's like, I support them. They're doing the right thing. And so, okay, you're a hypocrite. But right, let's go to Ottawa. How do you think things have been there?
Probably the same.
It looks like it's been great. Let's play the clip. Entire city is gridlocked. It's the middle of the night. And these arseholes just keep honking. I think that's enough. I think we get the idea. We get to the next one.
No, to be fair, I used to live next to neighbours who once held a party all night till like 6 a.m, blasting music. It's unbearable.
It is the most intense trolling I have ever seen in my life.
There's no getting away from it. You can't go to a different room. You can't put on your headphones. It doesn't work.
No, there's nothing you can do. Right? Just constantly, and there are loads of these videos of people in Ottawa going, oh my God. If we can go to the next one, you can see it's packed. We can go to the next one, John. Is that the one I was looking for? Yeah, but streets packed with truckers and supports. So yeah, and so if you watch this, you see it like from on the ground. Like nobody's going anywhere. This is all locked down. This is all insufferably noisy.
This is Hong Kong country.
Yeah, exactly. People have been calling it Truckistan. But the thing
it is actually familiar with the Taliban takeover of Afghanistan.
It
was gridlock and very peaceful. So,
But one of the things that I'm amazed at all this because it's so cold in Canada at the moment. But anyway, the point though of all of this is that it is driving the progressive metropolitan city dwelling cat ladies absolutely bonkers. The second picture I think is my favorite Reddit post from someone. If you can get that one up, John. Our kitty fear pooped on our bed, among other places. Okay.
I love meme magic.
Me too. If we can get to the next one, there are the memes. Speaking of memes, oh my God, it's been amazing. So I posted this on Getter. People have been collecting the Ottawans who are like, I can't believe these Nazis are doing this to us. And it is just lovely to watch because they're absolutely losing their mind. This is a torture technique. Can you get to the next one?
Yes.
It's a protest. I swear to God, if the honking by the Chud Visigoths goes late into the night, I'm going to flip.
Big Les there.
If you go to the next one, you can see this person is actually calling it terrorism. If you go to the next one. Yeah. This is terrorism. We need to stop calling this a protest. It's been non-stop honking for the last 6 hours, Callum.
But also I love it as he types this, there's just in the background.
Exactly. It's just non-stop.
He's like shouting this is terror, just no one can hear him over the sound.
But that's why he's typing furiously. But that's the point, isn't it? That's the point. If you recall what AOC had to say about protesting, she says, if we can go to the next one, John, the whole point of protesting is to make people uncomfortable. Activists take that discomfort with the status quo and advocate for concrete policy changes. Popular support often starts small and grows. To folks who complain protest demands make others uncomfortable, that's the point. Great point by AOC. You're meant to be uncomfortable. Honk.
You also know the difference here, the honking versus the burning down the apartments.
Yeah. There is a tangible difference in the amount of damage that's been done.
The mothers, you have to put up signs saying, I'm a single mother, this is all I have, please show mercy. No one's having to do that in response to the honks.
No.
They're like, I have to sleep I have to go to work in the morning, please show mercy or something like that.
I think you'd probably be able to get a special dispensation at this point, though.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you going to do anyway? We go to work, we can't do anything. There's trucks everywhere.
Try and take some calls and just on your end and their end, there's just...
Anyway, so of course there were also large crowds at the Parliament. As you can see, it just stretches off around the corner. And so that's good. You know, people out there supporting, even if they're not truckers, they're people protesting. But of course, there are agent provocateurs in the crowd. This guy with a Confederate flag. What? Why the hell would you have a Confederate flag?
Confederacy of Canada? I don't know.
Canada supports the South will rise again, says the North. You're nowhere near the Confederacy. What are you doing? Anyway, so apparently he was hiding his face, and when confronted about this, he just sort of like quickly shuffles off. It's like, yes, the anti-mandate people are wearing masks. Big suspicious. Anyway, not many mentions of this in the media, of course. You go to Eric Weinstein, just was on the New York Times. I'm like, why isn't this being covered? Is this not newsworthy? And that's the thing. It wasn't initially because, of course, it was. You could feel the delay. They're like, no, it's not going to bring it up. Not going to bring it up. Not going to bring it up. Okay, now everyone's talking about it. God damn it! Now we're going to bring it up. And so they had to talk about it. And so the CBC was like, are these Russian agents?
What?
You go to the next one. You can see literally
50,000 Russian truckers.
Maybe
They come over from Alaska, like.
This was literally what they were saying. Are these Russian agents? It's like, no, they're not. And of course, the Washington Post was like, well, look, this can't stand. You must confront the toxic freedom convoy, as they call themselves, head on. Well, what are you going to do?
What, shoot them?
Yeah.
What do you want?
Go on. Well, what's the plan?
What are you going to do? Tweet some more
No,
about
okay,
how this is terrorism and your cat shat in your bed?
Let's say that you shoot them all.
Who's going to bring you your food?
How are you going to get the trucks out of the Capitol? 100,000 tons of trucks in the Capitol now. What now? Well, the drivers are all dead. Can you drive a truck? No. But freedom is...
I know trucks are expensive, lads, but if you did leave your trucks in a big circle, just blockading everything in the Capitol and just left, what would they do?
Exactly what they're going to do. Yeah. No, we're not even going to just... Can you not automate the honking? Anyway... So this is contagious as well, with the truckers in the Netherlands thinking, well, hang on a second, we don't have to do this, and so they're doing the same. Turns out that this is something that a lot of people are going around on, and so Trudeau's response to this. What was Trudeau's response? So far, we've had none from the dear leader himself, but we have heard something from his government, from his. Minions, should we call them, right? So as the Daily Wire reports, on the Sunday morning, after the day after the massive Freedom Convoy arrived in Ottawa to protest the vaccine mandates that would force unvaccinated Canadian truckers crossing into the United States to quarantine once they returned home, the CBC reported that the transport minister for Trudeau's government stated there was work being done to implement interprovincial vaccine mandates for truckers. Asked about claims that his vaccine mandates were causing supply chain disruptions, Trudeau stated, I regret the Conservative Party and Conservative politicians are fear-mongering to Canadians about the supply chain. Oh, yeah. They're not fear-mongering to Canadians about COVID, though.
If you run that logic for a minute. Hang on. So the government came up with, if you're coming from the United States, we're going to make you quarantine.
Yeah.
And all the truckers were like, well, that means that the supply won't work, so we're going to protest
You're
this.
fear-mongering.
So in response, the transport minister was like, right, not only are we going to do that, we're going to do it interprovincial as well.
Yeah.
Well, that's even more going to affect the supply. And then Trudeau's like, well, that's a conservative conspiracy theory.
Yeah. Also, I'm popping over to North Korea to get more policies from them.
More rhetoric.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. I'm sorry, but...
Right, but he says, Conservative politicians are fear-mongering about the supply chain, but the reality is that vaccination is how we're going to get through this. It's like...
Everyone's already vaccinated.
But it's such a weird thing. It's like just whatever the problem is, vaccine. It's like, are you being paid to say that? I assume you are being paid to say that.
Break your leg, vaccine will fix that.
Yeah. So apparently in a couple of weeks ago, the president of the Canadian Trucking Alliance said to Bloomberg News that Canada was already short of 23,000 drivers for what's needed to meet demands. And so you can imagine how the supply chain is going to look now with like 50,000 truckers just squatting in the capital.
Remember, it is a supply chain problem due to COVID.
Yeah.
Not due to the government, due to COVID.
But anyway, so Mr. Trudeau's new cross-border mandate has raised concerns for other reasons. Like many countries, Canada is dealing with rising inflation and a supply chain already strained by pandemic, labour shortages and bad weather. Prices are on the rise, including for food and petrol. It's been getting harder to find some products on grocery store shelves, and Canada's economy is heavily dependent on the men and women who drive the vast majority of food and goods consumed in the country across the border, as the Canadian Trucking Alliance noted. Good. This is the leverage of the plebeians.
Yeah.
And they are using it very well. The only concern I have is that they will effectively end up losing sight of the goal. And the thing will start dispersing, and basically Trudeau will be able to wait them out. They will have to wait out Trudeau. This is just even if it takes a week, a month, the 2 or 4 years that they can afford to stay there, they've got to be in it to the end.
Because the thing is, the supply problems will get worse and worse, and people will start to accuse them of, "Oh, won't you please spare us?" But no, all of this is the government's fault. If you hold on, the government will not risk the country collapsing.
Exactly.
They will eventually give in.
That's exactly right.
If you enjoyed that segment from the podcast, The Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to subscribe to get access to all the premium content we have on the site, such as this video, The Politics of V for Vendetta, in which Carl and John go through the, anarchy versus, let's say, liberal aspects of V and the whole movie. If we go to the next one, you can also follow John on Getter at John Wheatley on Getter. Thank you and goodbye.